Hi, my name's Leon Hurley. I'm Associate Editor for officialplaystationmagazine.co.uk.
And I'm Philip Vaniak. I'm Staff Writer at Official PlayStation Magazine UK.
Yeah, and we're looking now at Aliens Colonial Marines, which you went out to Texas to see?
Yeah, over to Dallas. So we're just about to board the Sulaco, and there's the ubiquitous first-person shooter explosion. What's really cool about this scene that we saw when we were out there is the sound. It made me sort of realise that the Aliens movies have this really esoteric sound design where it's kind of not quite music and not quite a sound effect. Like there's some siren going off here that just sounds really otherworldly and really incredible, and it set the scene really well.
So, can you explain why are we back in the Sulaco? What is happening here?
Well, this Marine is a part of a team of kind of, I guess he's a rescue team. To be honest, Gearbox have been pretty cagey about the narrative so far. I think they've got a lot of secrets based on their talks with Ridley Scott. Obviously, he directed Alien, and he's the sort of genius behind the whole series. And with Sid Mead as well, the concept artist who designed the Sulaco, they've got this wealth of kind of secrets and mythology that hasn't been fully explored in the movies, and they're keeping it close to the chest until the game's released. But basically, we know that you're basically a team of Marines out there to find out what's happened on the Sulaco. And I guess try and save anyone that's still alive. And basically, when you're stepping back onto the Sulaco for the first time, it's exactly as the credits have rolled on Aliens,
Right.
Which is really cool.
So this is like the remains of your team, because it seemed like when we went into Sulaco, it looked like something had already happened.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the explosion was either. I don't know if my Aliens knowledge is letting me down there, but I'm not sure what the explosion was. I'm not sure who that guy is, because you would imagine he'd be one of the characters from the movie.
Yeah.
He isn't, as far as I know.
Okay, so we're seeing some of the combat here. I mean, obviously, aliens have, they can move quickly. They've got the acid for blood. How does that work in terms of actually fighting them in the game?
Well, it's funny, isn't it? You never really see the aliens in the same way when they're in the movies. I mean, you see a flash of them, but you never really see them top to bottom in good lighting moving toward you. So that was the first thing that struck me when I saw the combat. It always looks weird in an Aliens game just to see an alien moving around like that.
So what's going on here? What are we in? Are we in one of the APCs or?
No, this is the smart gun. So in the movies, I think Vasquez is the one with the smart gun. She gets like a little overlay over one of her eyes.
Right, yes, that's the big gun that they carry.
Yeah, it's kind of like a minigun, I guess. So basically, there's an auto aim thing going on with that smart gun. That's what makes it such a sort of powerful and desirable gun to get. So that was the kind of HUD overlay. I guess that represents the eyepiece that you get with the smart gun as well.
Right. So do you control your team at all? We sort of see there's other people around. Are you influencing them in any way, or are they sort of like just the narrative kind of dressing?
Yeah, no, they're doing their own thing. I think they were keen not to make a kind of Brothers in Arms style squad order system with this. They want it to be a kind of cinematic. You're this guy, you're living his life. You're not really in charge of the other people. It
looks. I mean, it's sort of heavy on the action. We've had explosions. I mean, this guy's been sucked out the airlock now, or?
Yeah, I think there's been. This is the bridge that we were walking down earlier on, and it's been breached. So now this is kind of like Randy Pitchford described this as like a first-person Uncharted. I can see where he's coming from. It's like the first level in Uncharted 2, really, when you're climbing through this train.
Yeah.
My reservation is it isn't really what I was expecting from an Aliens game. I was expecting kind of a lot more, run and gun.
Yeah.
Basically, rather than the adventure thing. But without seeing, how all these adventure things fit into the rest of the game, it's tough to make the call.
Yeah, I mean, I was reading your interview. I thought it was interesting when you sort of pointed out that the Alien movie sort of is like a corridor shooter, sort of by definition. They move through a corridor, they shoot things, and how is that going to work as a game? Obviously, stuff like the first-person Uncharted, I guess, will be trying to break that up.
Yeah, he also mentioned that, this is Randy we're talking about again, he mentioned that you actually just, at some point, the world opens up, kind of like that moment in Oblivion. Where you spend so many hours in the dungeons and then suddenly you're just given the entire world to look at, and it's incredible. So he's talking about a similar moment in Colonial Marines when you're out there on the surface of LV-426, So that should be pretty exciting.
So, what is there like an open world element, or is it just sort of larger areas to sort of navigate through?
I think it's just going to be larger areas,
Yeah.
like more of a kind of arena of combat rather than these corridors. Although, what we're seeing here is, it's a corridor shooter, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's nothing to be ashamed of. But I think they are going to try and mix that up with the larger combat areas.
Yeah, we saw the motion tracker there. I mean, is that a sort of iconic and as cool as I guess it's going to be?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Actually, the audio is taken straight from the movie, so the benefit that Gearbox have with this being a canonical sequel to somehow Aliens and Alien 3, I guess we'll figure out how and why, when we know a bit more about the story.
Yeah.
But the cool thing about that is their relationship with Fox, so they've got the original audio files from the movies. So that motion tracker sound is the motion tracker sound from Aliens, which is amazing. And also it's a really cool piece of kit as well. It's like very useful both in single player and in multiplayer.
So the multiplayer, I mean, what did you see of that?
We were playing team deathmatch. There are a couple of different ways you can play online. You can basically, there's like an ad hoc co-op system where someone can just drop into your campaign. You've got a squad member, and that's kind of like the solo play that gets a bit of multiplayer. And then there's like the team deathmatch, which is what we were playing. It's Marines versus Xenomorphs. The Xenomorphs are third person, and to be honest, their animations looked kind of early stage kind of thing, hopefully anyway. Again, it's that weird thing of seeing an alien move, especially from a fixed point behind. They've got kind of like a hive mind. They can see each other through walls and stuff, so they can coordinate their attacks and things. And it's, for the Marines, it's a very traditional team deathmatch kind of play. It's actually very tense, and all the games that we played were very, very close.
Yeah, so this is one of the new alien types, isn't it? The Crusher, I think.
Yeah,
is it the Crusher?
Yeah. He's kind of like a bull, basically. He just runs into you and knocks you off your feet. And I think they spawn every 2 minutes or every minute and a half or something. It's kind of like a Left 4 Dead nod.
So how does the multiplayer actually balance out in terms of what do the aliens have in their arsenal compared to guns?
Well, they've got their special vision. So in addition to being able to climb over every wall and ceiling, and they can sort of fit through nooks and crannies.
How does that work? Because that was pretty awful in Aliens versus Predator.
To be honest, we didn't get hands on with the aliens. We were watching Gearbox as they played with the Xenos. I guess in third person, you're at least a bit less disoriented. But so in addition to that, they get this kind of cool vision where they can see where everyone else is on the map.
Yeah.
So they can see through walls and things. Also, the different types of alien, they spawn every couple of minutes, and as a Marine, you just the default tactic really is to find a wall and hold up against it, and there's not really a lot they can do. But then when the Crusher turns up, he's just going to slam you into that wall and kill you. So it kind of keeps you on your toes.
So how does it deal with, obviously, say when the Crusher turns up, there's only so many times an alien can sort of jump on you and surprise you. So how does it sort of keep up any sense of sort of tension once you've been sort of jumped at a few times?
Yeah, it's a tricky one. I think
we're seeing a lot of running away here. I'm guessing
that's
not for just dramatic license. There's obviously a reason why.
Yeah, the Crushers are incredibly hard to kill.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of the tension comes down to how finely balanced it is, actually. Like I said, all the games that we played, it came down to, it was like 1st to 50, and it was like either 50 to 47, sometimes it was 50 to 49 right in the dying second. So that adds to a lot of tension as well. And also you don't really see the alien until it's pretty much upon you. So you've always got to kind of be on your guard.